Welcome to Signature TV News at 6. I am Charles Pius. In the headlines, Enugu residents describe national anthem reversal as misplaced priority. NAN seeks transparency in disbursement of loans to students. On the foreign scene, Zuma's populist party becomes top disruptor in South Africa votes. In sports, Real Madrid arrive in London for Champions League final. Now the news in detail. The Enugu State government says it will guarantee an effective investment regulation and ensure an investment-friendly environment, having been certified into the Nigerian Investment Certificate Program for States (NICPS). The Deputy Governor of the state, Ifeanyi Osai, made these statements at the Government House on Friday during the official endorsement of the Nigerian Investment Certification Program for States. Signature TV correspondent Gunmen was at the event.
The Deputy Governor said lack of timely, up-to-date and reliable data on all investment opportunities in Nigeria poses a significant hurdle for potential investors. In response to this challenge, he said the Nigerian Investment Promotion Commission (NIPC) has spearheaded the development of the Nigerian Investment Certification Program for the states (NICPS). He assured the commission the state government's readiness to work in synergy with the NICPS towards promoting and monitoring investments in the states.
So we have to think outside the box on how we can drive investment that will create the economy that we want to leave behind for our people. And as this progressed, first thing we realized was that for investors to come, they must be made comfortable. Those institutions, the blocks that would drive them must exist. So if you notice, no government has passed a number of laws we've passed. But they are all regulatory framework laws, laws designed to drive industries, to make investors comfortable.
The secretary to the commission, Aisha Rimi, while flagging off the program in Enugu, said the initiative aims to ensure that Nigerian states are investment ready by providing comprehensive, timely and accurate information and guidance to potential foreign and domestic investors. She provided basis for Enugu State's attribution into the program and areas that should be improved by the government to enable investors to come into the states.
This administration's efforts, particularly in revitalizing moribund industries and developing industrial parks and improving the infrastructure, align perfectly with the objectives of the NICPS. We are particularly encouraged by the Governor's commitment to projects such as the recent signing of an MOU with Pragmatic Palms, rehabilitation of industries such as Niger Gas, Niger Steel and Sunrise Flour Mills. These initiatives are crucial for encouraging investment and promoting economic growth.
The Nigerian Investment Certificates Program is co-funded by the United Nations Development Program for the promotion and facilitation of investment. It is also designed to bolster states' investment promotion infrastructure and enhance their capacity to furnish investors with the requisite data to make informed decisions regarding investment location and opportunities. In Enugu, Gunmen for Signature TV News.
In the build-up to the IPOB declared seat at home on the 30th of May 2024, Enugu State government threatened to dismiss any government official who refused to show up for work. Despite the government stand, many civil servants in the state sat back at home. Signature TV delves into the situation in this special report.
Enugu, Nigeria, a vibrant city known for its warm hospitality and rich history. But on May 30, the streets are eerie quiet. This is Otiba Junction, usually a beehive of activity, but on this day, declared Biafra Heroes Day by the indigenous people of Biafra, the junction stands deserted. It's 7:30 a.m., a time when this junction would normally be teeming with commuters and traders. However, in response to IPOB's call for a sit-at-home order, most businesses are closed and the streets are empty. This observance of Biafra Heroes Day highlights the lasting impact of the Nigerian Civil War. The war, a brutal conflict that claimed millions of lives and remains a sensitive topic. Many, particularly the Igbo people, remember the devastation. The Enugu State government, however, disagrees with the sit-at-home order. They've declared it illegal and threatened to dismiss any government employee who doesn't show up for work. Even with these threats of dismissal from work, the secretariat in the heart of Enugu City was exhorted. It is left to be seen if the government will make do its threats of dismissing over 80% of its workforce who refuse to show up at work, especially at the secretariat. The New Haven Tunnel, usually a bottleneck during rush hour, is eerie quiet. This drop in traffic underscores the widespread observance of Biafra Heroes Day. Beyond the silence and empty streets, the economic impact of the sit-at-home order is another concern. Residents lament the incident and its effects.
There is hunger because of this sit-at-home, but there is cause of this sit-at-home in which government know. This sit-at-home now, if they release in Nande Kano, the sit-at-home will stop by itself. You understand? Even me as a transporter, it's affecting me, but I don't have option than to keep my trucks.
The one they give us, because of Nande Kano, they say we should not come out. When you come out, they will burn our company. That's the reason why we're not coming out on Mondays. So secondly, you normally know that some people are afraid to come out on Monday because I think that will come out on Monday will cause a problem to them. So that is why everybody will scare away.
The sit-at-home thing is really affecting us because we're not able to make sales and there are not enough customers to come. Because they used to fear. Like sometimes they go down sit-at-home here, there were customers here, they were just hearing gunshots from nowhere. You have to run away. So since that time, more customers are not coming, and it's really affecting the business. Like maybe in a day, I used to make sales of 100,000, 200,000 something. Now it's hardly on this Monday. Sometimes 1,000, 2,000. I will not even make sales.
The observance of Biafra Heroes Day is a complex issue, reflecting both remembrance and a yearning for peace. As Enugu grapples with the legacy of the war, the question remains: how can the city move forward while honoring its past? A pop sit-at-home order that started in August 2021 to call the attention of government to their plight seem not to have made so much impact. Federal government have been reluctant in addressing these issues raised by IPOB. The governments of the 5 southeastern states have been unsuccessful in resolving the matter.
Following presidential accents to a bill to revert to the old Nigerian national anthem, a cross-section of Nigerians have called on the National Assembly to be more interested in lifting Nigeria out of our current economic woes rather than in reverting to the old national anthem, as there can be no national anthem for Nigeria if no Nigerian is alive. In this special report, Signature TV correspondent Ebenezer Odo examines this direct address by Nigerians to members of the National Assembly in view of the bill to restore our old national anthem instead of people-oriented bills. His report.
Before Nigeria's flag independence in 1960, the British colonial masters' anthem held sway over our landscape. At our independence on 1st October 1960, our founding fathers settled for Nigeria. We held it as the country's anthem. 18 years after, in 1978, and 46 years on, it is Arise, O compatriots, that reign the air at ceremonies in Nigeria. The question some of the residents of the capital city who volunteered answers are asking members of the National Assembly, desirous of reverting to the old national anthem, is to explain what is in an anthem. The old one, they said, is praising and hailing Nigeria, while the other is asking them to arise and perhaps shine.
National anthem is not where our problem lies. It has nothing to do with the economy of the country.
The respondents query the sensibility in pursuing a legislative process of reverting to the use of the old national anthem that will not solve the country's many economic problems, describing it as a move in the wrong direction.
What impact of what benefit is it to us? Will it make 1 naira to come back to $2 as it was in the early 80s?
Currently, the respondents say the value of the country's naira in the face of dollar, euro, and pound sterling at the international market is nothing to write home about, adding that revamping the naira and restoring the petroleum subsidy to cater for the common man instead of playing to the gallery should be what their representatives should concern themselves with.
Our problem is not national anthem. If you go to fuel pump, some are selling 850, some are selling 900, some are selling 800. The least is 800 naira. Now, for you to fill the tank of this small bus, you will spend not less than 30,000 to fill it. And the worker, they are talking of increasing their salary. 30,000 they are paying cannot even pay for transportation.
The respondents who asked how many Nigerians in search of what to eat in the current situation in Nigeria can recite any item, whether old or new. However, directed members of the National Assembly to come up with robust bills that will touch their lives positively.
The problem of this country is not new or old national items. Nigeria are hungry. We are hungry. Let Nigeria help us. Since we are in one Nigeria, we need Nigeria to help us. New on old national items. We are not interested in new on old national items. We are hungry. We want food.
We not new and national item we are talking about. We are talking about new old life that our forefathers live.
The attempt by some of the respondents to recite the anthems show that economic woes in the country and survival instincts have taken center stage in their lives.
I want the president to go back to old price of food because Nigerians are dying hungry. I can't remember learning it from my age. I don't think by the time I learn how to reason that's what is in use. But I know that it's Nigeria we healthy.
Robust laws are made to solve immediate needs of man and not to carpet them and chase the wind. Ebenezer Odo, Signature TV News.
Meanwhile, the Osun State government has directed public and private schools in the state to start reciting Nigeria, We Hail Thee, the returned old national anthem recently approved by President Bola Tinubu. The instruction was contained in a release signed by Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Education, Murtala Jimo, obtained in Osogbo on Friday. Tinubu on Wednesday signed the national anthem bill seeking to return the old national anthem Nigeria, We Hail Thee, into law. In a release by the state government, Jimo directed that all schools in the state should ensure that they commence reciting the returned anthem during their morning assembly. The Permanent Secretary, through the release, urged all heads of schools in both private and public schools to ensure their pupils and students learn the anthem and begin to sing it henceforth. The government of Niger State has reduced by 50% tuition fees paid by students of Abdulkader Kure University. In a statement signed in Minna by Professor Mohammed Yahya Kuta, Pro-Chancellor of the university on Friday, Governor Mohammed Bago said the reduction is aimed at alleviating the current compounding financial hardships on students and parents. The statement said that all students studying regular courses in the institution are to enjoy the total relief of a 50% reduction in the registration fee in the ongoing 2023-2024 academic session. While congratulating the students, parents, and the people of the state on the developments, the governor hopes that the beneficiaries and entire people of the state would lend their support to the government to enable it succeed. The governor implores the beneficiaries of the gesture to reciprocate by being more committed to their studies for the development of the state and humanity at large. The Nigerian Center for Disease Control and Prevention, NCDC, has unveiled the National Sequencing Consortium to strengthen public health security in this country. Speaking during the inauguration in Abuja, the Director General of NCDC, Jide Idris, said the consortium was an initiative set to revolutionize the nation's public health infrastructure. Genomic sequencing is a process where scientists read up and map out all the DNA in an organism, such as human being. It helps in finding out more about genetic diseases, developing better treatments, and even improving crops and livestock for better agriculture. Idris said the launch of the consortium signified President Bola Tinubu's commitment to advancing public health and leveraging cutting-edge science to improve the health of Nigerian citizens. It will also standardize data collection and analysis and provide educational resources for researchers. Idris said that the initiative was a pivotal step towards enhancing Nigeria's public health laboratory functions and establishing the country as a strategic hub for genomic research. Also speaking, Professor Christian Happy, the director of the African Center of Excellence for Genomics of Infectious Diseases, through his representatives, Professor Anisse Happy, highlighted the significant strides and challenges faced in genomic sequencing in Nigeria. Happy identified key challenges as handling the vast data generated by genomic sequencing, which requires specialized skills. Operatives of the Uyo Zonal Command of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission have arrested 40 suspected internet fraudsters in Akwa Ibom State on Thursday. In a statement via social media on Friday, the anti-graft agency said the suspects were arrested during early morning raid operations at 2 different locations in the state. Items recovered from the suspects upon arrest include 1 Toyota SUV XLE, 9 laptop computers, 64 smartphones, 1 internet router, and a smartwatch. The EFCC added that the suspects will be charged to court upon the conclusion of investigations. The National Association of Nigerian Students, NANS, has called for transparency in the implementation of the Students' Loan Scheme. NANS National President Pedro Obi, in a statement issued on Friday in Abeokuta, urged the federal government to appoint individuals of unquestionable integrity and competence to oversee the scheme. This, the NANS National President said, would not only ensure the success of the scheme but also guarantee its sustainability. While commending President Bola Tinubu's administration for initiating the Students' Loan Scheme, Obi called on the government to engage all relevant stakeholders in implementation of the scheme. The NAN president said the loan, if properly implemented, will not only alleviate the financial burdens faced by many students and their families, but is capable of ending the mass exodus of Nigerian students outside the country for studies. He urged the federal government to prioritize transparency and accountability in the disbursement of the loans. The loan scheme, he said, should be designed to be inclusive and accessible to all eligible students, regardless of their socio-economic background. The amended student loan bill was passed by the National Assembly into law on March 20, and President Bola Tinubu assented to it on April 3rd. The Nigerian Military High Command has promised to bring overwhelming military pressure on the proscribed indigenous peoples of Biafra over the Wednesday killing of 5 of its soldiers at a checkpoint at Abia in Abia State. The Director of Defense Media Operations, Major General Edward Buba, in a statement on Friday said the military would be fierce in its response to this dastardly act. He said the troops of Operation Udoka, deployed at Obikabia Junction checkpoint in Obingwa local government area adjoining Aba metropolis in Abia State, were attacked and sadly killed by members of IPOB. Boba said the terrorists, who were in 3 tinted Prado Toyota SUVs and others from built-up areas surrounding the checkpoint, sprang a surprise attack on the checkpoint. Military promises fierce response over killing of soldiers by IPOB. The federal government has been appealed to reverse its decision on 50% deduction of its revenue generation. NAMA Director General Farouk Umar, while speaking in Abuja, noted that restoring the full revenue to NAMA is quite essential to enable the agency to address critical needs of infrastructure, enhance operational efficiency, and ensure the continuous training of its safety personnel. Umar said the formula was tilted against NAMA in spite of the huge capital requirements of its investments, jeopardizing its ability to meet both national and international obligations. According to him, NAMA operates on the principle of cost recovery as recommended by the International Civil Aviation Organization, ICAO. This, he said, means that all charges are solely for the recovery of equipment and other costs incurred in service provision. The current revenue sharing formula allocates only 22% of the 5% airfare, contract, charter, and cargo sales charges to NAMA. He revealed that Nigeria Civil Aviation Authority, NCAA, with less responsibilities, currently is allocated 56%. According to him, the entire aviation system is about safety as it remains sacrosanct, owing to the fact that there is no parking space in the sky. The NAMA boss added that safety procedures and protocols ought to be prepared and strictly adhered to while on the ground. He reiterated that NAMA was entrusted with the critical responsibility of ensuring the safe conduct of flights in all phases within the Nigerian airspace, including territorial waters in the Gulf of Guinea. Coming up next in the news, Zuma's Populist Party becomes top disruptor in South Africa votes. Olympic torch relay passes through Omaha Beach in Normandy. Stay with us. Welcome back. This is Signature TV News. On the foreign scene, a Russian court on Friday extended until 5th of August the pre-trial detention of journalist Alsu Kurmasheva, who hold Russian and United States citizenships, a Reuters correspondent reported from the courtroom in the city of Kazan. Kurmasheva is a Prague-based journalist for Radio Free Europe, Radio Liberty, which is funded by U.S. Congress and designated by Russia as a foreign agent, meaning it gets foreign funding for activities deemed to be political. Her employer says her detention on charges of violating Russia's law on foreign agents is unjust and politically motivated. Kurmasheva, 47, told reporters in court she was suffering from health conditions that could not be properly treated in detention and her health was deteriorating. Her lawyer, Rim Sabirov, said they would challenge Friday's ruling and request that Kurmasheva be allowed to remain under house arrest pending the trial. Investigators plan to wrap up their work within the next 3 months, he said. The biggest winner in South Africa's election this week may be former President Jacob Zuma, whose newly formed Umkhonto weZizwe's party has exceeded expectations and emerged as a major factor in the African National Congress sharp drop in support. MK is not going to win the election and is unlikely to be a coalition partner, analysts say, while Zuma is barred from standing for parliament because of a conviction for contempt of court. The party, which advocates nationalizing land and banks and scrapping the constitution, is on course to unseat the ANC by a landslide in the populous province of KwaZulu-Natal, Zuma's home region. With results from about 64% of polling stations in, MK was in third place on Friday with 11.8% of votes. The ANC had 41.9%, down from 57.5% in the last 2019 election, looking set to lose its majority for the first time in 30 years. In KwaZulu-Natal, strategically significant due to the main ports of Durban and Richards Bay, MK was leading with about 44% to the ANC's just under 19%. Durban handles around 60% of the trade to and from South Africa, while Richards Bay is the largest coal export facility in Africa. Political analysts attributed MK's success largely to Zuma's popularity, which is rooted in his humble roots and anti-establishment stance. While a potential coalition between the ANC and MK is possible, analysts deemed this unlikely due to MK's probable demands, such as replacing Ramaphosa and absolving Zuma's legal issues. China and Tunisia have written vivid stories of developing countries standing together and helping each other through thick and thin since the establishment of diplomatic relationship between the two countries 60 years ago, said Chinese President Xi Jinping on Friday. Xi made the remarks during talks with visiting Tunisian President Kais Saied at the Great Hall of the People in Beijing. Xi first welcomed President Saied to visit China and attend the opening ceremony of 10th Ministerial Conference of the China-Arab States Cooperation Forum held 1 day earlier. For his part, the Tunisian president hailed bilateral ties and the combined efforts made so far. At the invitation of Xi, Saied is on a state visit to China from May 29th to June 1st. The visit marks Saied's first trip to China after he took office as Tunisian president. The people of Sudan are at imminent risk of famine. United Nations agencies said on Friday more than a year into a war between the army and the parliamentary or paramilitary rapid support forces. Around 18 million people are already acutely hungry, including 3.6 million children who are acutely malnourished, according to a joint statement by UN chiefs, including Volker Turk, the UN High Commissioner for Human Rights. Fighting broke out in the capital Khartoum in April of 2023 and quickly spread across the country, reigniting ethnic bloodshed in the western Darfur region and forcing millions to flee in the world's largest displacement crisis. The war broke out as long simmering tensions over integrating the RSF with the army came to a head. The UN Special Advisor on the Prevention of Genocide said last week there was a risk of genocide in parts of Darfur. A UN-backed report said in March that immediate action was needed to prevent widespread death and total collapse of livelihoods and avert a catastrophic hunger crisis in Sudan. Spanish police say it has seized 11 tons of forged soccer tops to be sold in Spain in the run-up to the Champions League final between Real Madrid and Borussia Dortmund in London on Saturday and the European Championship in Germany next month. The seized goods includes tops from Portugal's Cristiano Ronaldo, France's Kylian Mbappe, Spain's national team, Real Madrid and Barcelona. The fake shirts were found among other forged products such as luxury watches, leather goods and electronics when agents were searching 15 heavy-duty lorries, police say in a press release. The investigation started last April when 2 tons of counterfeit shirts of Spanish football clubs sent from China were seized. Police found out a big shipment was bound to Spain before the Champions League final and the Euro finals and set up an operation with more than 20 agents. Police estimates the whole merchandise would have a market value of more than 6 million euros. On entertainment, Taylor Swift Spanish super fans Roberto Santos attended on Thursday with his family the second gig of the pop icon at the Santiago Bernabeu Stadium. Roberto stands out among other Taylor Swift fans by his longtime devotion to American pop icon Taylor Swift and a plethora of gifts he has received from her team in recognition of that, enough to cram an apartment room he calls a sanctuary. Santos, who runs a dental prosthetics lab in Spain's capital, keeps in his sanctuary items, including Swift's limited edition Platinum Disc Award, signed photos, recordings, and sneakers bearing both their names. Going to see her concert in Dublin in 2018 made him the only person to have traveled twice from Spain for a Swift show. Her management team then added Santos and his wife Immaculata to an exclusive fan list, showering them with gifts and invitations, including an all-paid trip to Los Angeles last year. He has yet to meet her in person after the planned encounter in Oslo was cancelled due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Time magazine named Swift its 2023 Person of the Year, citing her musical accomplishments and influence on everything from pop culture to voter registration. Her record-breaking Eras tour has been boosting local economies. Occupancy rates in Madrid hotels have climbed to 90% on average for the concert dates. In sports, the Olympic flame passed through historic Omaha Beach Thursday, May 30, as the Olympic torch relay made its way through Normandy on its way to Paris. The torch was carried in a small boat and landed on Omaha Beach at almost 80 years to the day after some of the 150,000 Allied soldiers landed there on D-Day to drive out the forces of Nazi Germany. Spectators gathered near the Les Bravers Memorial Monuments dedicated to the Allied forces that landed on the beach on June 6, 1944, as they watched the torch go by. The relay also went past the White Cross headstones of the Normandy American Cemetery just above Omaha Beach at Colleville-sur-Mer, where 9,386 soldiers were buried. The relay continued east, passing throngs of spectators and young children along the routes in coastal communes of Lisieux, Cabourg, Des-Saumur, and the Hall Gates before ending the day in Harfleur. Some 1,500 torches will be used for the Olympic relay from May 9th to July 26th, with another 500 to be used in the Paralympics relay. Some 11,000 torchbearers will play their part in carrying the flame to its final destination in Paris. The 2024 Paris Olympics will be held from July 26th to August 11th, and the Paralympics run from August 28th to September 8th. Real Madrid is in London for their 18th Champions League final, with players like Jude Bellingham smiling as they walked off the plane. Carlo Ancelotti's squad will face Borussia Dortmund in Saturday's June 1st showcase at Wembley Stadium. The 14-time winners travelled without goalkeeper Andrew Luning, who was recovering from flu, and will travel on Saturday to rejoin the squad. After leaving the airport, Real Madrid travelled to their hotel on Watford, where they were greeted by a group of supporters. Ancelotti, along with his players and staff, will be aiming to claim a record-extending 15th European title for the Spanish Giants. For Ancelotti personally, it would be the Italians' 5th as a coach and 7th in total, having also won the competition twice as a player. Borussia Dortmund are clear underdogs for the final, surprising Europeans run this season in sharp contrast to their rollercoaster domestic campaigns. Dortmund won the Champions League in 1997 and were runners-up in 2013 when the final was last played at Wembley. On that occasion, they lost to German rivals Bayern Munich. And that's the news this hour. I'm Charles Pius. Thanks for watching. See you next time.